Time now for the news review. Thank you for staying, and we get into it with energy analyst Kojo Poku. But before we welcome him aboard, before he's ushered into the conversation, this news review is brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Now, if you're thinking of getting prostate screening or fertility screening for women, the best place to go is Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And they're offering these to you for free, completely for free. Now, here's where you can locate them from Accra to other parts of the country. Accra, it's in Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. In Kumasi, Kronoma, we're here behind the Angel Educational Complex. Anaji Estate in Takrade in Tema, it is Community 22, Techiman Hansua, and Esiama in Zama. Just reach them on 0244 867 068, 0244 867 068, or 0274 234 321, 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But the start of the news review. Let me say a very good morning to energy analyst Kojo Poku. Kojo, Memawache.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
For some reason, I can't hear you so well, so I'm going to try this again. Very good morning to you, Kojo.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. I'm still struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me? I think your system is having a bit of a challenge this morning.
Could be. Could be from our end. Could be from your end too. But I can see you now.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I think maybe I'll need to up the volume a bit from here so I can hear you better. But you're looking glossy, handsome as always. Thank you for staying with us. I'd like to start by finding out what you've been up to, especially as campaigning is hitting the ground running. We've seen Alan Tremating, we've seen Dr. Kotwe, we've seen a number of people actually getting into it. And we've also had the sad incident of Honorable Osei Akoto, former member of parliament for Pankrono, Tafo Pankrono, whom we hear has met his maker. So tell us what you've been up to by way of your campaign briefly, and any thoughts of the former Tafo Pankrono lawmaker before we get into the newspapers.
Yeah, I hope the sound is better.
It's much better now, much better. Let's go.
Okay, thank God. Yes, my condolences to the Akoto Osei family, his brother, Ambassador D.K. Osei, and the entire family. I think our heart goes out to them. It's a great loss to the nation and to the family. Not long ago, he was the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, and we all know the good work that he did during His Excellency John Jacob Kufuor's time as a Minister of Finance. It's sad news, but look, that's the journey that we all have to take one day. So we pray that his soul is in perfect peace. With my campaign, it's been brilliant. It's been great. I'll take this opportunity to say good morning to all KMP family in all the regions. On Sunday, I was in the Volta region. I met the beautiful executives of the Volta region, and it was a very brilliant and magnificent meeting. And I'll take the opportunity to thank them on this your media and wish them well in all their endeavors. But look, other people, as we all said, has come into the fray, busy campaigning. But for me, I always keep saying, I'm in a different lane. The lane I'm in, it's a lane of youthfulness, a lane of new ideas, a lane of something different. All the other candidates are preaching business as usual, continuity of the policies that has not led us to a lot of good results. So people that have heard me speak are all attesting to the fact that I have something. And they keep encouraging me to continue because they think that the message I have is the best message for the country and for the party.
All righty. Thank you for getting us up to speed with what you've been up to. So the latest region you've toured is the Volta region. Let's get into the Daily Graphic newspaper. President Akufo-Addo urges caution in amendment to Constitution. I've heard the likes of Professor Nana SKB Asante also echo same. He is saying that it will not necessarily change our constitutionalism, if you like, but we have to approach it with caution. Some have said it's not a wholesale change, but some things in the Constitution must change. And in recent times, if you listen to former President Mahama and his talk about ex gratia. We know from the Kufuor era, it became very prominent on the back of those committees and what they brought to bear. And now, at least he is proffering that, as far as the executive is concerned, it should go if he gets the nod, and then he would also approach the legislature and the judiciary. When I get to that story, I would like you to share your thoughts on all of those surrounding issues. Commemorative gold coin project. Otumfuo rolls out responsible gold mining in Ashanti region. President puts spin on Sona. That's according to the NDC. And they have a lot to say. In fact, yesterday they had a lot to say about the true state of the nation. Ghana will support ICC to investigate war crimes. That's according to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfred Yeboah-Dame. You know that in recent times there was that arrest warrant, if you like, put forward as far as Russian President Vladimir Putin is concerned. Domestic revenue to jump 3 bills to rake in 4 billion Ghana cedis yearly before Parliament. So let's get into those stories. I'll just take all of them together so I can take your reactions as a whole, en masse. So the government has laid before Parliament 3 amended bills as part of measures to revamp domestic revenue mobilization. When passed, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill, and the Growth and Sustainability Amendment Bill will together rake in about 4 billion Ghana cedis annually. A highly placed source at the Ministry of Finance told the Daily Graphic that the Income Tax Amendment Bill, which is expected to rake in 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, would still exempt those who earn the minimum wage from paying tax. However, the bill, when it becomes law, would alter the way foreign exchange losses are treated in financial statements, it said. The source added that the Excise Duty Amendment Bill would also rake in an additional 400 million Ghana cedis through the imposition of a 20% tax on e-smoking, as well as fruit juices. The Growth and Sustainability Amendment Bill, it added, would replace the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy, which is currently levied on companies operating in selected sectors, such as telecommunications, mines and extractives, breweries, and financial institutions. On second thought, Kojo, I'll address this one, and then I'll bring in the others, because this has a lot of meat on it. Your quick reactions to these bills that are being laid before Parliament to rake in 4 billion Ghana cedis yearly for the state.
It's, Ben, look, it's like having a rock which has no water, and your quest is to now draw more water from a rock. Look,
Kojo?
Can you hear me?
I don't know what is happening to the sound. It comes and goes. I can hear you very faintly.
I think it's your network, because when you speak, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead, Kojo. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, what I'm trying to say is that, look, trying to take bills to Parliament and overburden the Ghanaian with taxes again. You know, the corporates are already paying what they can. What you need to do is to explore how we got here. Look, nobody's saying that we shouldn't expand our tax net and tighten the loopholes in our taxes. But in this time, when in any other country, the government will have to be giving some relief to Ghanaians and companies so we can grow the economy back again, this is not the time to be introducing more taxes to basically draw water from a rock. Okay? What I think that the focus of Ministry of Finance is to call GMPC to a meeting. Look, my brother, we had an upstream. We got all these indebtedness because of an oil find in upstream. Ghana is an oil producing country. Why are we abandoning that and going for 4 bills to give you 4 billion a year? If today we increase our oil production upstream by just 100,000 barrels a day, just 100,000 barrels a day, which is very simple and very easy to do, increasing our upstream production by 100,000, right? It will rake in about $240 million a month. $240 million a month. We now recently took 7% extra in the Jubilee field, which is what the Adadaku were selling that we took on. That's 7% alone. If we increase our upstream by 100,000 barrels a day, that 7% alone will give us $16 million. Now, what are you talking about? $16 million in your coffers as compared to 4 million Ghana cedis that you are going to pass a bill that will bring you $1 million a year. Meanwhile, you can just call a group of people who are not doing their work, GMPC, to say, look, what is going on at GMPC? Because GMPC is now even getting to the point where they can't even pay their bills. But you are not interested in that. You want to go after taxes. For me, at this stage in the economy, it's very sad. I don't know why everybody wants to look away from the GMPC disaster and how we got into this mess. So, look, yes, you can introduce those bills, but if the bills are just you are going to go after 4 million Ghana cedis a year, please, what is that going to do in the mess that we are in? We are trying to get $3 billion from the IMF. What is 4 million Ghana cedis a year? So the solution to the problem is very simple. Go after GMPC, look at why we cannot increase our production by just 100,000 barrels a day.
Okay, so there are alternatives, and we're not harnessing those alternatives. Do you feel these will increase the tax burden on the ordinary person? Because mention was made, for example, that the income tax amendment bill, which is expected to rake in 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, would still exempt those who earn the minimum wage from paying tax. But it's not only those who earn minimum wage who are in dire straits. Do you feel these taxes, when they become law, or these bills, when they become law, will actually compound the economic situation of the ordinary Ghanaian? Quickly on that.
Yes, because we need to grow wealth, Ben.
No, let's start. Did you say yes? Did you say yes?
Yes, but we need to grow wealth. We need to grow the wealth of the country. And you need to allow people to have a bit of a disposable income. And by so doing, we will grow the wealth of the nation. We are not growing wealth. We keep basically drawing the little that people have. And that is what these bills would extend to do, draw the little that we have. But if we don't grow the internal economy, letting people have a little bit more to spend, manufacturing will collapse, okay? All these breweries that you seek to tax will collapse. Because if the person doesn't have disposable income, that person doesn't go out in the evening and buy anything. Don't buy beer, don't buy Alvaro, don't buy Cocoa Fanta. So we need to allow people to have some money. The taxes at this time is not the right thing to do. For now, we need to look at the alternative to bring more income into the economy, then allow people to have a bit more money to be able to grow the economy again.
Let's look at those other stories, page 16 now, and then I'll move to page 20. President Akufo-Addo urges caution in amendment to Constitution, and the president has called for the exercise of caution on the wholesale or limited amendment of the most successful and lasting constitution in the history of the country, the 1992 Constitution. Is that to say that just because it's lasted this long, it has not outlived its purpose in certain ways? Just asking. He said, without prejudging the outcome of the ongoing national debate, those calling for amendment should bear in mind that the 1992 Constitution had provided the bedrock for the longest uninterrupted, stable period of free governance in the otherwise turbulent history of the country. Quoting him, he says, I can only say there is the need for caution from all of us, by all of us, in calling into question the Constitution, which has provided the bedrock for the longest uninterrupted, stable period of free governance in our otherwise turbulent history. And that is what he had to say. But President put spin on SONA. That's according to the NDC. I'm sure you followed yesterday. Now, the NDC has said President Akufo-Addo put a spin on his presentation of the message on the state of the nation to Parliament. According to the biggest opposition party, the president shelved the precarious state of the nation and only resorted to self-glorification. That's how they put it. Presenting what it called the true state of the nation, the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, touched on various issues ranging from the bad state of the economy, the large size of government, to the growing spate of corruption, and described the current state of the nation as one of hopelessness, recklessness, and corruption with a leadership paralysis. I mean, there's a lot more to what they say. For example, Mr. Nketia says The true state of our dear nation no longer lies in flowery speeches laced in political chicanery that never accepted responsibility for anything, but in taking the bull by the horns. A few of what he said in addition, and these are stories that myjoyonline.com captured, dismiss hangers-on appointees at presidency. Hangers-on appointees, those who may not necessarily have anything to do, but have had jobs created for them. That's Esiedun Ketia from yesterday. And then again, corruption has defeated you and your family. Esiedun Ketia again, telling Akufo-Addo. What are your reactions to these?
Well, the one thing that the NDC always failed to do is to prefer solutions. The NDC has never preferred alternative solutions. They want to basically tell the Ghanaians what Ghanaians already know or don't know, or they want to basically paint a picture which is not what the picture is, and basically hope that Ghanaians will say that, okay, MPP is not MPP, so let's bring in the NDC. Please, I think Ghanaians are savvy now. We are changing as a nation. If you want to rule this country, prefer solutions. Telling us what we know or what you think it is not what's going to bring you into government. And that's the unfortunate thing in this country. Everybody thinks that if the party in power, if you beat them like a paniada, okay, it paves the way for you to be the alternatives. Ghanaians should wake up to that. We should only bring people into government that has alternative solutions. There's no point.
Are you by saying this admitting that the MPP as well has done same?
Has done, all political parties do same. I'm not excluding the MPP in that. Every political party do say we need to prefer solutions. Look, I am looking at Ghana going forward. What has transpired in the past for me is water under the bridge. Today, MPP, Nana Akufo-Addo-led government is in power, okay? We have some difficult times. There are some things that the government have done that most Ghanaians are not happy with. There are some things, there's a lot of good things that the MPP government and Addo-led government has done, okay? We will take those good, we will take those victory laps, and we'll go out there and campaign on those, okay? But if you are NDC and you're going to spend the little time you have in front of the camera to repeat things to Ghanaians, what are you offering the Ghanaian person? So what I am saying is that, yes, they had their 5 minutes on camera, but what they failed to do is tell Ghanaians what they will do differently. The alternative that they think that they are the party in waiting. In every country where there is a vibrant opposition, they always have alternatives to what the government is doing. We are here to hear anything that they will do differently. And I have said that the way the economy is structured, unless we reform the economy and the way it is structured, be it MPP or NDC, we are still going to go in the same trajectory. And we've seen that from 2015 till today. Okay, where John Mahama took us to IMF, and now in the 7 years of MPP, we are back to IMF. We, as the Danado-led government and MPP, have had challenges of COVID, challenges of the Russian-Ukraine war, which has, in a way, contributed to the situation that we are in. But in most part also is to do with policy direction. And I have not been afraid to say on national television that we should have done some things differently in 2017. But the thing is, if you want to come into government, then tell Ghanaians what you would do differently. Let's not waste time in coming to paint pictures.
But haven't they, in all fairness, haven't they? They have said that some of the actions that have been taken by this administration, they would not have done. They've spoken about the banking sector cleanup. Hold on. They've spoken about the banking sector cleanup and how they would have dealt with it differently. They've spoken about the wanton spending for COVID-19 and how, given those funds, they would have addressed the matter differently. They've spoken about wanton or maybe reckless borrowing and how they would have acted differently. Those are differences that they have pointed out and said that, look, this is not the way to go. And to be fair, Kojo, you would also realize that in the past, just as you have been calling for certain things to be done, you mentioned 2017, there have been calls on our economy. Don't do this, don't do that, don't take this misstep. Go to the IMF at this point, all of that. Are you telling me all those solutions that were profit, you missed them?
No, so let me take it step by step as you went through them. The banking sector cleanup, what would they have done differently? Like I keep saying, the Ronaldo-led government borrowed 25 billion and paid back depositors' money. They would have probably said, no, we're not going to pay depositors' money. Let Ghanaians be the judge of that. MPP-led government took money and paid back depositors' money. What would they have done differently? They would not have paid that money. Let Ghanaians be the judge of that. Let's go on into COVID. Unless they get a pandemic, they can't prefer solutions about pandemic. So let them come into.
Well, they had Ebola. It's just that we were spared the brunt of it.
Say it again.
They had Ebola, but it's just that we were spared the brunt of it.
Well, we never had Ebola, and we never had a total shutdown of the world economy. So let's not go there. You see, people keep mimicking what happened in 2021. Ben, this is the first time that the world economy was shut down. This country, the southern sector of the country, Accra, the capital, was shut down. Nobody went anywhere for weeks. So what are you talking about? Ebola was just in the outside the country. We never had Ebola in Ghana. So what are we? Listen, they've never had pandemic. When they get pandemic, then we would have that conversation. Okay, so they can't compare. The banking sector, I already said that Nanado-led government borrowed 25 billion and paid depositors money. They should tell Ghanaians what they would have done differently. So those are the things that we should be talking about. Yes, like I said, there are things that should have been done better in 2017. It wasn't. Let's have those conversations. But the MPP is in government. They are in opposition. They should tell the Ghanaian what they will do differently. Stop beating the panera. Offer solutions. That is what we should say.
Let me ask you this, though, right before we get ready to wrap. So Professor Frimpong Boateng, former Minister for Environment, has had some very interesting things to say in recent times, saying that some of those involved in Galamsey are within the party, the MPP, your party, and in the Jubilee House. That's where he situates the conversation. He says he was used as a scapegoat. I am merely paraphrasing, and that, well, he is chilling, enjoying himself. The police have also invited him to substantiate some of the claims he's making in terms of pointing to direct individuals who are involved in this. We know about the Akunta mining issue. The Charles Bissu issue is still up in the air because the special prosecutor is dealing with that, but he has tried to quash any such move, saying that it should not be allowed to happen. With these accusations that keep coming up as far as the NPP is concerned, as far as the Jubilee House, what do you make of it? Are we dealing with the issues correctly?
No, we are not. And I have always said on every platform that the Nanado-led government has done very well, and I give it 85%. The 15% I don't give it is on corruption and how these matters are dealt with. How swift the special prosecutor deal with matters. How swift the role of the hand of justice grab the people who are corrupt and are not supposed to be where they are. So yes, there's a lot there to be investigated. And it's not just saying that we are going to investigate it. My problem is how quickly we investigate these things. If it's true that people in the Jubilee House are the ones responsible for Galamsey, we should quickly arrest them and prosecute them quickly. Underline the word quickly. It's not a matter of saying that we're going to do something and let it fester for a long time. Look, I was once talking to a presenter in Obuasi, and he said to me, Kojo, I can actually take you to places where there are mines going on and there are military guiding these Galamsey operations. If a presenter on a radio station knows where there are mining going on, Galamsey mining, and military are guarding them, are you telling me national security doesn't know? Are you telling me the Jubilee House doesn't know? Are you telling me that the people who are in charge of security in this country do not know that there are Galamsey, that they are military guarding? Of course we do. So what are we talking about? So look, they can do all the investigations, but my point is that I will not condone anybody because it's an MPP person. I will not condone anybody because the person is in the Jubilee House. I think that swift justice is what Ghanaians need. And we need, in the next 2 years, to basically close that 15% that Ghanaians are looking at us. I, Kojo Poku, give it 15%. I would really hope that Nanado will basically stand up and make that 5%, and I'll clap and say, look, we've done 95% for Ghana. But for now, we are just not performing well in that arena of corruption and dealing with those menaces.
Let's go to the Daily Guide newspaper now. Baumia saves Ketia traders, closed market opens. Today, initially we had got comments from, I think, a deputy minister that no, we would have to get to the bottom of what exactly happened before the market would be reopened, and that would take about a week or two. But the vice president was there in the Ashanti region, and he passed those comments. So it's open today. Whether it's an apt move or not, we'll all find out with time. There's also that gloomy, sad story about Dr. Anthony Osei-Akoto, former MP for Tafo Pankrono and former Minister of State in charge of Finance, who has passed on. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Akufo-Addo's educational record unmatched, that's according to Edichum. There was a response from the MPP after the NDC put out the true state of the nation, and then Grace Gift Herbal picks top award. But let me just look at this. So Minister of Education, Dr. Yawase Edichum, has stated that the President, Akufo-Addo, has an unmatched record in education, which has witnessed systematic improvement since 2017. He asserted that the current administration's performance over the past 6 years had far outperformed that of earlier administrations over the last 14 years in terms of educational outcomes, and added that change is taking place from school to school. All right. That is, I don't want to get into further detail because the education minister has been one that I've taken on vigorously in recent times based on some of his utterances, which have not been very pleasant. But I'll give him a little breathing space today. The Finder newspaper, Republic Bank Ghana not related to embattled First Republic Bank of USA. And that has had to come forth because of all the wranglings, and people have been wondering, are there any ties? Is our money secure? And all of that. So that has come to the fore. There's also creditor committee lessons for Ghana. It was long and bumpy journey for other countries. And we do know that Sri Lanka now has that 3 billion IMF package. When is Ghana getting ours? The minority leader, Dr. Kasilato Forsen, himself an economist, has said we will not get it in March. I'll wrap with the Graphic Business newspaper. Ramping up trust post DDEP, investor protection plan now. And today at the Labadi Beach Hotel, we have that Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting focusing on exactly that, the DDEP. Keeping your finances in check during cost of living crisis and Nigeria's debt problem, mainly domestic. Which of these stories would you like to address? The DDEP?
The Ketia market.
Ketia market, right.
Yes. Look, it's very sad that we've built a beautiful market for the people of Kumasi to be managed in consultation and I think in conjunction with the KMA. The way the market is being managed is very sad. Look, we all heard last year about the disconnection of electricity at the market. And I, Kojo Poku, being a very worried person, made some phone calls to find out what was going on. And one of the things that came up was that the mobilization or the collection of money, because all the market have 1 meter. Okay, so if all the market has 1 meter, it means that there has to be money collected from people. But the problem is that some people might use more than the other. Some people might just have stalls that use common lightning. So how do you now calculate how much money one person is going to pay from the other? That is one big problem that the market is facing, being able to now manage that part of it. Then when the fire happened, we heard they don't have insurance. The whole market does not have insurance. And the reason given for no insurance is that collecting money from the traders to be able to put in the pot to pay for the premium is a problem. So clearly, it tells you that we have built something nice in Kumasi, but the management of it is becoming a challenge. Because if we can't collect money to pay electricity bills, we can't collect money from the traders to basically pay insurance, then what's the point?
Right.
You understand? So
right.
What authorities should pay attention to? It's not all these things that people want to go and walk around that place and take chairs and jeers from the market women when we are not dealing with the problem of the market. It's okay for everybody to do a walkabout in the area. Kojo can go and walk about in the area and I'll get jeers and cheers from there. But who is actually sitting the management down and telling them that you need to resolve these problems? Collect the money from the market women to pay insurance. Collect the money from the market women to pay electricity bills. Because as I speak to you now, there is still indebtedness in the KGTR market in terms of the electricity bills.
Right.
And if ECG goes and connect and disconnect, we will now hear the uproar. So please, I'm saying this to let the authorities know that all is not well with the management of that beautiful market that we built in Kumasi. The other one is the March IMF. Well, we are already in the middle of March, and I don't think that with what's going on, China not giving us the audience to renegotiate and a lot of things going on, I don't think, yes, we will make it in March. We should just do it as and when, and like you said the last time, we should just stop doing the commentary on the timetable. It's not going to help anybody. Right. We should come to the realization that we need to do certain things for ourselves as a nation. and we have still not heard from the government in cutting down of the expenditure. We are trying to boost revenue by introducing some of these bills to Parliament. I have suggested that we go aggressively after GMPC to increase the oil upstream production, and that will bring us some more money. But what we have not done as a nation from last year to today is aggressively cut our expenditure.
Right.
We are still making commitments on expenditure. For me, it's not necessary.
Kojo, thank you so much for your company this morning. We're grateful and we wish you the very best of the day. Kojo Poku is an energy analyst. Just to leave you ahead of sports, I want to build winning team. Chris Houghton says so. We'll be giving you some of those details in sports, which will be coming your way shortly. But the news review has been brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, and they are offering free prostate screening, free female fertility screening as well. Locate them in Accra, Spintex, opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi Kronuma Abuehia, behind the Angel Educational Complex, Takrade Anaji Estate, Community 22 in Tema, Techiman Hanswa and Esiama Nzema. You can reach them on 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Stay with us for sports up next for the latest in that realm.